Hey everybody, welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Your host Superman in the house. Hope you guys are doing well. Well, we're just going to do a quick video today. It's currently Sunday here down under, Saturday afternoon, evening in the Northern Hemisphere in the US of A. But we're going to get down into where the markets are at the moment. So Bitcoin, Ethereum are up slightly, just a little bit higher, which is kind of nice. That moved quite a few of the rest of the market leaders. And also, we also have got Pulsechain is defending the 7,000 for 10th week in a row. So we're going to look at that. And it was getting a bit hairy yesterday, but bounced today with the majors up slightly. So so far so good. Let's see whether this 7,000 is going to lock in the bottom for Pulsechain once and for all, and then it's up to the upside after that, and then everyone will cry about the fact that they didn't buy, right? That's the usual thing, But let's see what happens. It's certainly looking different from the past. We're obviously going to look at the top 100 trending pairs, as we always do every day on Pulsechain, including liquidity, which we've added in. We're now observing the top liquidity pairs as well to give you a sense of what is value on Pulsechain. And we've got some interesting things happening with the PDI printer, and I have been talking about that too, haven't I? And that's gone up in price today and is the leading. So we're going to check all that out. We're going to have a quick show, so it's not going to be too long. We will probably check up on Liberty Swap and a few others, but let's try and keep it to about half an hour because I've got other stuff I'm doing for Pulsechain today. So that's it's going to be a lot of fun. So heading into next week. I think we're going to get quite a few project updates next week, so that should be good too for the old Pulsechain. But without further ado, don't forget to get in the comments. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button on YouTube, and don't forget to smash the follow button on X. And importantly, repost the show. That helps a lot for pumping your own bags. So it's kind of cool. Crypto Night Show is the largest daily streamer in the Pulsechain community doing, and obviously the only one really doing daily shows. So get in there, folks, and show some support if you want to hear people learn all about the old Pulsechain, all the projects and everything else. So it's kind of cool. Well, let's get into it, and let's start off with the crypto majors. No stock market today, of course, because it's the weekend. And let's get into where we are on the old crypto. So overall here on CoinGecko, we've got the market cap at 2.58 trillion, still super small. Remember 2.5 trillion. The big targets are heading towards 100 trillion over the years ahead. And Tom Lee describes this as a 10-year re-rate of Ethereum as the traditional markets come over to the crypto markets, and we're seeing that starting to take off. We're in the takeoff phase. What we got. Stable coins up in the $320 billion mark. That's taking off. We've got tokenization taking off with I think it's about 32 billion at the moment, and that's going to be nothing in a year's time. That could be $1 trillion, right? So just keep a lookout. That's going to ramp up super fast. Is the tokenization on the chain? We've already talked about Robinhood, Ondo, Xstocks, and Nasdaq. I mean, it's happening, guys. And Ethereum is the number one principal winner from that. In terms of volume out of the digital asset treasury around the world as well, Bitcoin and Ethereum, it is MicroStrategy strategy. It is Tom Lee's Bitminer mission. SBET, of course, in the play as well as the second. Ethereum digital asset treasury that are getting all the volume flows. That is key for capital flow and capital raising. So it's all game on from here. So let's get into it, folks. Those are some of the mega themes, some of the big players. We've got Bitcoin at the moment is up 0.3%, so up a little bit higher, and we're sitting at 73,823. We are still down 3.7% for the week. Ethereum at number 2 up 0.4% at 2,025, so defending that 2,000 mark. Better that we're over than under, and but we're still down 4.3% for the week. Number 4 is BNB up 12.2% overnight. Great move there. That accounts for its weekly move, which is up 11.8%. At $734. XRP at number 5 is down 1.6%, 1.5% for the week. So all today is sitting at $1.34. Number 7 is Solana up 0.1%, but still down 3.5% for the week, and that's at $82.85. Tron at number 8 is up 0.1%. It is down 4.6% at 34 cents there. Sort of counter moves to several of the other chains too, doesn't it, from time to time? We've got Dogecoin at number 10, down 0.6%. But down 2.2% at 10 cents, still holding that 10-cent mark. But here is the interesting thing today, which I haven't made comment for some time, and that is Hyperliquid Hyperliquid there is up 4.5% today. We have been watching it be one of the top performers. It is up 14.7% for the week at $68.25. But what's the key thing there that you can see happening? And that is the market cap is at $15.25 billion. And look at Dogecoin at 15.6 billion. So there's only about $360 million increase in the price to flip Dogecoin and enter the top 10. That is Hyperliquid. So that could be something we'll watch in the next day or two. Now, the countenance to the success of Hyperliquid and all its products offerings, of course, is Dogecoin and X Money from from Elon Musk, I should say. So X Money going public from the beta. That's what we're looking out for. It seems like it's delayed to me, but that is coming. So that would be a counter re-rate on the Dogecoin to keep it ahead of Hyperliquid. But the battle is on in the top 10, and we always know that there's some switch and changes there. So it's going to be really interesting to see that. So I just thought I'd highlight that. Top performer in the top 100, we got Humanity. Humanity, damn you, Humanity, or H token, sitting at number 91. That's up 29% today. It's a big move, at 70% for the week. Lab is number 2, so we've got a few new names in the top 5. 27% there. It's sitting at number 32, up 93% for the week. So there have been some good gainers if you've been lucky enough to be in there, if you've been doing your research and happen to have those positions. WorldCoin with the old digital ID using your eye from Sam Altman, the young evil tech empire. He's up. That's what 14%, 49% for the week. Bidget token there. BGB, that is up 12.6%, 13.9% for the week. And finally, number 5 is Artificial Superintelligence, or FET coin, FET. That's up 11.9% today, 28% for the week. So there have been some nice little gainers there in the top 100. Probably most notable is FET and Humanity there at the top of the top 100, leading the way. So pretty interesting. Now, I haven't looked at Humanity for some time. Let's have a quick look at what that is again. Humanity Protocol is a blockchain featuring a native proof of humanity consensus mechanism that verifies users' uniqueness as human beings. So look at that theme. So we've got Humanity there, along with what was the other one? Along with WorldCoin as well. So that's pretty interesting. Let's have a quick look at Lab. These are all digital ID moves, aren't they? Digital ID. So this Lab is the first all-in-one trading ecosystem, and it is powered by Lab there. So that's interesting. So we've got, essentially a lot of frontier trading protocols and digital ID protocols on the move here. Now let's look at the last week, where we've got Lab at number 1, 93%, Rain at 89%, Humanity at 70%, Stellar XLM having a really good week, 61%, and then Dexy up 32.7%. That's pretty interesting stuff there going on. So pretty cool. Now we've also had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 out of the top 100 up over 10% for the week. So, not too bad, right? Now, top 1,000 gainers, we've got Roll up 50%, Kyo up 56%, and Trust AI up 39%. And trending overall is Bonk, Kite, and Optimism. Those are the trendings there. So that is pretty much our markets. Let's zoom in on Bitcoin. Now I've got to keep tabs at the time here, 9 minutes into the hour. So let's have a look where we're going here. So we've got Bitcoin. This is the monthly chart. Pretty interesting, right? So monthly chart still over the monthly moving average for the 50-month moving average is at 66,236. We're currently at 73,831, looking pretty good. Now, long term, we've seen a removal of Bitcoin from the exchanges, right? So over the couple-year period, it's gone down dramatically. I can't remember the exact number, but something like 700,000 Bitcoin or something like that. But what we've seen in the short term is we've seen Bitcoin added and demand leaving. So we've got the short term, pullback in, we've got slightly increase in supply, relatively speaking, and a pullback in demand. And we see that in the charts as well as the Bitcoin ETFs, right? So they're also been exiting as well, particularly IBIT, right? So we've had that happening. The offset, of course, is the treasury DATs, the digital asset treasuries. They're offering support, and that is lumpy. It comes during the months, but that is building up, and we've been impressed by that. So while the equity markets may be waning in the short term from Bitcoin, and everything's funneling into the stock market, which is at record highs, we already see commodities rolling, so gold, silver, and of course crypto rolling a little bit. Well, we've got the fact that we've got the maybe the equity markets are waning, but the debt markets are ramping up with the preferred stock products from some of the leading digital asset treasuries on Bitcoin, like Strategy, like Strive, that they're offsetting. So the debt market is propping up the underlying floor price for Bitcoin, arguably going to lift that floor price. So we've got these competing forces that we haven't really seen before, guys. This is something new, and structurally speaking, in Bitcoin. So the bell is on. So kind of cool. I happen to think that it's going to get pretty aggressive to the upside from July onwards, because we'll have a daily Strive dividend payments. We're going to have a bi-monthly dividend payments for Strategy, most likely with the vote. And we've got several of the other top 15 DATs in Bitcoin still got a lot of capital to deploy and intending to deploy to push up, to buy Bitcoin and get it off the market and push it up. So it's a pretty exciting. And on Ethereum, we obviously have Bitmine Immersion still buying up to 6 million, and also SBET as well, still pretty active. So out of all the, we'll talk about that when we get to Ethereum, but all the digital asset treasuries on Ethereum, those two are the ones that survived and actually able to raise significant capital. So that's going to be right now. We're above that level. The downside is possibly, I mean, if we're going to be negative, somewhere between probably 62 and 66 would be the downside there. The upside, of course, is anywhere up, but I don't think we're going to get the upside until we get news around clarity, which will probably be early July as well. So July does seem to be the month of convergence. But we've also got the digital Bitcoin strategy stuff coming through from the White House going through. And so that stuff around strategic Bitcoin acquisition is very important as well. Now, what's the importance of that? Well, potentially that the US government could end up buying for its Bitcoin strategic stockpile 200,000 Bitcoin a year, heading towards 1 million. That seems to be the indication there that they are looking to acquire a million Bitcoin. I think they've already got over 300,000 Bitcoin, I think 330 or something like that. So you're looking at heading towards 1 million. That's another significant buy, the US government, and that's game on. So that is progressing as well through the Senate as well. So that's pretty exciting. So we'll talk more about that in the future. But that is just mega game on. So it's really, if you got a medium-term mind frame, that's when you're going to start reaping some huge rewards, I think. But actually, I think takeoff time from July is pretty much set in, right? Pretty much set in. Now, the downside to that, of course, is the Strait of Hormuz and oil. If we get an extended oil period, if that doesn't sort of get resolved soon, then that exacerbates, instead of being a short period, into a medium period, and that will fuel inflation, and that will box in the Federal Reserve. And of course, we've now got a nice, friendly, dovish federal chair, Wash, and so he's going to come straight in and have to face that tightening of differential. You guys know I've been talking about a 1-to-1 ratio between interest rates, the federal funds rate, and the inflation rate is a good rule of thumb where interest rates should be. And of course, we've been well above that. Well, we've seen inflation just climb a little bit. If we take the PCE data, about 3.2%, the CPI is a bit lower, about 2.7, 2.8. And so if we're at 3.75, we could arguably still do a 50 basis point cut. Originally, at the beginning of the year, some people were expecting a three interest rate cut. Well, that's getting reduced down now to maybe a no cut. But I still think that there's room for a 50 basis point cut in there. Now, that obviously, if we have an extension in the Strait of Hormuz and oil prices staying elevated, above $90, for example, then that's going to cause some issues, particularly for the non-Americans, but certainly it's going to cause some issues in inflation because of international prices, and therefore that will exacerbate and squeeze out, potentially lift inflation a bit higher. So that would remove any interest rate cuts, right? Even with my dovish approach, right? So that's kind of where we are. Now, the other thing, of course, is how much of a monetarist Walsh is with regards to the monetary supply theory. And that's the kind of camp I'm sitting in around inflation and what he does there as well. So that's another big topic. But we'll see what happens coming up in the next two meetings. It's going to be very interesting. All right, so let's see. And of course, we get a deal out. A deal is on the table right now. We saw Trump in the White House in the War Room but no decision's been made so far. So it's obviously not quite there yet, but it certainly seems to be heading in the right way. And so maybe that bearish scenario won't play out regardless. Now, remember, the debt markets don't care really about the Strait of Hormuz. The yields will just go higher, right, with the higher inflation. And that means that dampens down Bitcoin. But, of course, the digital asset treasury will be harvesting the debt markets. And so it'd be interesting to see what happens to the interest rates on offer. 11.5%, will that go to 13%, for example, to offset any interest rate high yields in the money market bond markets as a result of higher inflation expectations? So you see how it's playing out. That's going to a few variables there. So you've got to kind of just monitor it and see where the trend is going and how the market responds, right? So that's kind of the play right now. So here we are. So let's go to the daily quickly. I'm supposed to maybe keep this on a tight schedule here, so I can't talk too much about it. But we're at 16 minutes into the hour. So here we are with the daily. We got the daily at 76,186. The 200 moving average has moved down from 82,000, sorry, where we got rejected, all the way down to 81. So it's an easier target to hit now. But here we are at 73.68. But we had a nice little bounce. We did get down to as low as 72,500 in the last couple of days. We have managed to rise up here. We'll be keeping a lookout, in particular in the short term, around a settlement with a deal being done with the Iranians, and secondly, the progression of the Clarity Act, Bitcoin Act, and those associated acts moving through June into July, and then of course the decisions around digital asset treasuries, particularly strategy around their bi-monthly dividend, moving into July with takeoff time in July, as Strive also moves to essentially daily payouts. That is a revolution in the money market bond markets with the preferred stock innovations, and let's watch that just raise so much money, regardless of the rest of the outlook, and buy Bitcoin. So it's pretty good, Pretty good edge. We'll keep watching that. But July looks like takeoff time, second half of the year, looking very good. Obviously, there's still a few challenges there, but I think it's looking pretty good overall. Now, so here we are. It's just about 73,900. So we're a little bit higher here. Let's see where that goes. Now, Bitcoin ETFs, of course, they have been down negative. You can see negative sells here. So I got Bitcoin. So even on the 29th, we saw 170,000. What was it? 170,000. Was it 1,700? Is it 1,700 Bitcoin? I think it is. Sold there. Let me look at the dollars. Yeah, $125 million out on the 29th. $223 million out on the 28th there, and $733 million out. So there's been a lot of selling in the ETF since the 15th. So if you're wondering why we've had some down pressure there, they've definitely been contributed from the ETFs, right? The offset, of course, has been the digital asset treasuries, and that we've seen some pretty awesome stuff. Obviously, SATA from Strive has bought several thousand Bitcoin over the last few weeks with their SATA product, which is their preferred stock. That is the last time it will be doing monthly payments, because it's moving to daily, baby, which I think is effectively 250 times a year. But that is on the game there, and they just raised incredible. Just the last day before record date, on the 30th, they raised enough for something like 1,200 Bitcoin. Now, there's an estimate; it could be way higher. But it's unlikely to be much lower. So that is going to be interesting to see their weekly update disclosure on Monday for Strive. Now, remember, SATA is the preferred stock. It offers a 13% yield. And then, of course, it buys Bitcoin and it puts it into their Strive common stock, which is ASST ticker, assist. And that accumulates all that Bitcoin. Now, even at a 10% growth in the price of Bitcoin over the next few years, they could pay out their dividends of 13% for at least the next 9 years. So you sort of see the idea, the collateralization, and the modest CARG or return that they need. And of course, Bitcoin's typically been doing 30 to 35% a year. So that's the logic there. It's going to be pretty interesting. Of course, they're going to move to daily as well. So pretty awesome. Yeah, almost 1,500 Bitcoin in 3 days. But like I say, it's probably going to be to the upside. So we're going to be looking forward to that. Now let's quickly go to the treasury there. Now that SATA is closed, you know what's opening up, right? Strategy's stretch product is going to market because they're operating 2 weeks alternatively, right? So probably in the week we'll start to see debt market taking up Stretch, and keep a lookout for that. So that's going to be pretty cool. Stretch, of course, will be buying Bitcoin for MSTR, the main ticker for Strategy. Digital asset treasury, it's now got 843,738 Bitcoin. That has been ramping up massively. It's ended up buying twice as much Bitcoin this year as there has been Bitcoin mining. So it has been doing awesome. So, if you got 450 Bitcoin a day, they've been buying 900 Bitcoin approximately a day based on that logic. So pretty awesome. We also know we're going to get a lot of activities from a lot of these other leaders here, like Metaplanet in Japan doing preferred stock, Bitcoin Strategy, a treasury company, looking to do, they've got big capital to buy more Bitcoin. I think it's $1.5 billion at least. And then we've got many others bullish. And of course, Strive has taken number 7 position here at 16,500. And of course, we saw in the SpaceX IPO that they actually have something like 18,500, but Strive's about to pass by them too, because once they do their update this week coming up, with having bought at least, probably in my view, probably at least 2,000 to 3,000 Bitcoin, they're going to put them up towards near 20,000, right? So pretty game on there. We also know many others down here have accumulated Bitcoin. Trump, of course, media company, American Bitcoin as well, is doing on the move. So keep a lookout for some of these top leading digital asset treasuries. So, and then once these guys start buying it all up, once we start seeing the stock market just maybe get a rotate a little bit out of the big AI theme, right? That's generally what's driving a lot of stock market. We will then have, if we get the right conditions and inflation is kept at bay, we will see the debt markets harvested, and the treasuries buy up all the Bitcoin and force the ETFs, when they come back in, to pay much higher prices. Pretty exciting. Of course, all the shorts out there too will get liquidated, and of course they'll have to short cover and push the price of Bitcoin up as well. So I'm feeling, even though the short term we've had this pullback, and what we see on the exchanges over the next 6 months to 24 months, 6 to 24 months, particularly next quarter, next half, I'm expecting some real moves. With some volatility this year, but some big moves moving ahead from the debt markets to harvesting there, and everyone else has to jump back on, right? Because the Bitcoin's going to be bought up by these strategy digital asset treasuries. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's kind of the basic thesis there. Let's jump to Ethereum. Keeping track of the time here, we're at 22 minutes on the hour. And we've got ETH here on the monthly. It is sitting below the monthly average, 50 moving average, unlike Bitcoin. So definitely weaker, but we have a different theme. Instead of primarily debt fueling the structural support for Bitcoin, we have got a bigger play going on Ethereum. We've got the whole finance and mass adoption coming, right? So finance, and this takes time. This is like putting pieces of the puzzle together to bring adoption. And what are we seeing? The mega themes that those chess moves are being made around for finance. Well, it's stablecoins, RWA tokenization, AI payment systems, creative payment systems, and things like that. And those are the big things moving. Obviously, within the tokenization, there's a whole ton of categories from money markets, equity markets, real estate, etc., to be brought on. And it is just beginning. So we're up to about, I think, about $330 billion in stablecoins, with the majority of that on Ethereum. And then we also got the takeoff in RWA tokenization, around 32 billion, and that is takeoff time. Like I said, we could see that go up 100x by next year. Keep a lookout for that, because once these big financial companies do a little bit of testing with their tokenization, they then say, "Hey, that's worked really well. Now let's ramp that up, and let's bring everything we got." And they do that typically within a year. And so we're going to see, big numbers ramp up that RWA. So that's a key number we're going to be looking at moving forward. And of course, Ethereum is dominating that too, right? So pretty exciting. And then, of course, we're expecting an absolute boom as the market gets more sophisticated and implements more AI payment systems, that is going to absolutely rally. In fact, we should see a big wallet upgrade there. Number of wallets really explode. I think what's Ethereum right now? 400 million wallets, something like that. So I think that's going to be huge up to the upside. Once all this value happens, then the ETH price will pick up, and perhaps even the volumes will be so high that the Ethereum EIP 1559 burn starts to take place, right? Where we really get a big, strong net burn on the supply, and you've got a number of triggers of value, right? Fundamental value, as well as the blockchain burn value as well. So keep a lookout for that coming up. It's going to be pretty exciting. All right, so and then the price of Ethereum will re-rate dramatically, and of course the key marker is 5K. Now, I think that there's a lot of just easy upside into 5K, so you can take profits if you're buying down here. You can do that. Obviously, look how many times we've been below the 50 moving average here. Not too many times. So at the moment, you're certainly getting better than market prices. And look how much time it was over the 50 moving average. You see what I mean? So now is obviously a good entry level, regardless of where we are, 2031. So that's kind of cool. Now, if that is the easy profit taking area, but of course the magic money really takes place once we reach 5,000. And of course, if we do get Bitcoin rallying in the next 12 months to 250, or even by December at 200, based on the power law, which has been a very good fit, then we could see $12,000 to $22,000 Ethereum, right? Even at 5-year averages or so forth. So 20,000 would be at all-time high. 2021, we were close to 9% of Bitcoin. Ethereum was that close. So that would end up being getting you to do your $20,000 mark. And if we only do the average, let's say 5-6%, then you're looking at that 12K, right? 12K mark. That's the logic there. Obviously, Tom Lee has a further. If we're going out further than 24 months, he has a bigger number for a re-rate of Ethereum as a payment system, and he has it up at 60K, right? 60K. So we'll see what happens there in the future with that. But certainly, all the mega things are happening. You just got to be patient. It is a medium, at least at the very medium-term view. And when I say that, let's say 12 months. But actually, I think we're going to get some pretty exciting value re-rate in the second half of the year with volatility, because there's a number of still variables that cause that. And we've still got the inflation question and oil of question there. All right, so that's kind of where we are right now. We're currently at $2,030. The 50-month moving average at 2,468. Let's go to the daily chart just to quickly check that off. We've got the 50 moving average at 2179. Let's call it $2,180. We've got the 200 moving average at 2,500. And so we are down here. So we're obviously weaker than Bitcoin, but the build out is ramping up dramatically. But there's also this pieces of the puzzle, and we've got people like Tom Lee out there that's talking to all institutions, trying to get everything set up, and of course talking to open, taking positions in OpenAI and WorldCoin, Digital ID, doing that whole centralized thing. Now, obviously, he's doing that on DeFi, and some of that we don't like, of course, like Digital ID, but that's the sort of stuff that he's setting up. And then, of course, mass adoption. This is really, I think, the kingpin is Beast Industries, and of course, waiting for these dApps coming out. They will do mass adoption, no doubt, with on top of Ethereum, and that's just ballistic. So Generation Z, Generation Alpha, part of the millennial generation, pretty exciting stuff happening there. I think X money will probably end up being millennials / Generation X boomers in X money as we move forward. So you can see some of the roads to mass adoption are finally here, guys. This is no longer everyone talking about 1% or 5%. We're talking about mass adoption for at least the developed world, but probably much of the developing world as well. So it's going to be exciting. All right, so there we go. 21.31 right now. A pretty good price, as we saw based on the monthly, the accumulation, and 5K is quite easy profits up to that point, taking profits, but the magic money really breaking 5K. And that's when you start to get massive repricing and that speculation bubble, or fundamental long-term value, depending on how long you're going to wait for, right? All right, so that is Ethereum. Let's jump over to Pulsechain. How we're doing for time? We're at 29 minutes. So I'm already up to my half an hour. So I guess I'm going to have to spend at least another 10 minutes on the live stream. I was going to do a quicker live stream because I'm doing some other stuff today from Pulsechain. Bang, bang, Pulse gang. Frank White's in the house. Big shout out. Welcome to the chat. All right, so let's jump into Pulsechain. Pulsechain, a full system stake fork of Ethereum. Now, one thing I want to remind you about Pulsechain, and that is not only was it a full system stake fork of Ethereum on the 10th of May 2023 and launched 3 days later on the 3rd of May 2023. We just had our 3rd year birthday. We are now, what the hell am I on now? That's right, I'm looking at PSD Algo wallet. We are now on day 1,114 into our 4th year. And we have got the battle of the world right now going on Pulsechain, or at least Pulsechain's world, right? And the cool thing about Pulsechain, we get all the innovations from Ethereum Foundation for free. We get to upgrade the chain for free. We got a battle tested chain just like Ethereum, but we get the free upgrades, and that includes quantum, whatever else they got coming down the line for free. Now, what have we seen recently with the Ethereum Foundation? Well, obviously they've been selling some ETH to Bitmine Immersion and other things like that, and raising capital because they're wanting to do their new roadmap for Vitalik and roll all that out. They've got big upgrades coming very shortly too, to upgrade the transaction ability of the chain, etc. But we get all that up for free, which is pretty cool. Think about that. That's an intrinsic value that's not even priced into Pulsechain at the moment. But that is pretty fundamental, and it's going to have an impact on Ethereum itself. So exciting times there. I think that's a really overlooked feature there. And so, yeah, finding the bottom of Pulsechain right now at 7,000, going to be pretty interesting where we go. So far, so good. So yesterday we were teetering on, we were holding on. Today we have fought back again, but we're not out of the woods yet, right? We're not out of the woods yet. So let's check out on the chart. At the moment, I'm going to do a refresh here on the Pulsechain stats to get the latest and greatest. And here we are. So what happened there? We keep going back to the wallet address. So we're going down to Pulsechain at the moment, 507233. Is that awesome? I think that's pretty awesome, guys. We're still in battle. Don't get me wrong. We're still in battle, but we didn't capitulate. We didn't capitulate. We didn't go down to another level or have a capitulation week or anything like that at this stage. We're holding on 10 weeks in the row there. So Pulsechain there at 50233. I'm glad to report 7233. I'm glad to report it is up 2.6%. So green candles. Hex at the moment is at just under 1/1200th of a penny, up 2.6% on Pulsechain. ProveX is sitting at 4045. It's up just under 1%. Pulsex having a good move today. It's at 506 something, and that is up 5.5%. So Pulsex having a good move, and I always feel like Pulsex is underappreciated. It's got the buy and burn operating, of course. But one thing I would say about it is that we've had low volume, so you can't be too surprised if you're only doing $2.5 to $3 million of volume. It's got to be priced accordingly, right? That's kind of the logic there. And then on average over time, if the volume's up on average, then arguably it should get re-rated. And of course, in crypto, it overshoots all the time, right? Overshoots. We've got Ink token at the moment at 33 cents, up 3.7%. Those are the Richard Hart cores on Pulsechain, and of course, some of our top liquid tokens, right? Let's quickly go to the validators quickly. We're going to run through this right now. Run. We got 49,247 validators. We're down from 50,000 about 3 days ago. Let's go to no Rack and Michelle validators there yet that we can see. Additionally, supporting Coin Mafia. What else? We got the gas price is 590,000 beats, so we're back on the low side. That's cool to see. We're at 88 pulse per transaction. 0006 is the price. Obviously, a more valuable chain is going to have more higher prices than the gas prices. So even though I say it's nice and friendly low prices, ultimately we want them to be more expensive, and because it says that the chain's doing better, right? So that's kind of the there's more demand on the chain. So there's a bit of a give and take. So enjoy it while you can. Is that what we say? Enjoy it while you can. Let's have a look at the bridge. The bridge, of course, 51.5. So it's still down 2% for the last week, 5% for the 30 days. That's come down, isn't it? Obviously rolling forward. Our last big move, as I pointed out several times, was about 58.5 million back on about the 25th of April, and we are down from there. So we're down about $7 million, but looks like we've had a little bit of a bump today, just a tiny bump. Tiny bump, about 200K today. What do we get? We got the bridge value here. Daily inflow 200, daily outflow 69, up 138. So it looks like maybe the last day or so we've had a little bit of an upside. So that's cool. We'll take that. We'll take what we can. Take what we can. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's good. That's good. Let's jump to the Pulsechain chart. Pulsechain chart there. We're back at 507170. So we're just down slightly from when I was talking. Let's look at the hourly chart. This will show us the picture. We're up 3.3%. And that is our climb back. That is our climb back from the abyss. From the abyss. We were down at 506800. So we were really pushing new lows here of all time on Pulsechain. And we have managed to fight back here with a bit of volume. Look at that big volume coming in. This is the main pair, of course. There's at least 5 pairs that are kind of got most of the liquidity. And of course, it's tied into the vast majority of projects on Pulsechain. Well, we're sitting at directly, that is, we're at 507170. So and we just had a wick 3 hours ago up to 7,200 a year. So we're pushing, we're testing it there right now. All right, so 71.70. That is where we are there. All right, so cool. Let me just scroll on from there. That's kind of on the hourly. Let's go to the daily again. And that is the daily chart there. So we had 3 green days in a row. But you guys know on the weekly, that's what we've been using to frame this journey. In fact, am I in the wrong pair? I think I'm in the wrong pair, guys. Yeah, again, I did it again. What's that, 3 days? 3 days in a row? Let's move away here. It's a foolish show. Foolish. Let's jump in here. I've got to keep track of the time here because it's easy to talk when you're having fun on the chart there. We've got some little green candles. Why not? So that is our chart there. Let's go full degen. And you can see the theme there. We have had a mega downtrend from the yellow line for over 3 years. It's 36 months. And now we have something different in the chart that we haven't seen before. And that is we are moving sideways within a range, of course. But for 10 weeks, we've moved, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have not seen this structure before with the RSI at the bottom, scrolling just above oversold. So this is why it's new structure. I've argued that many times. I'm not going to go through all the previous history to show that, but we've got different structure playing out. But we have got the battle of our lives on right now to find the bottom at 7,000. We're oscillating around it, of course, 6,800, the 7,200, and we're back in that range right now. And you can see we've had some indecision candles at the moment on the weekly. See those there where the price is essentially where it starts and where it ends in the week. So we've had 2 weeks. You can see that there, little T crosses. So the market's really fighting here. And of course, we have the macro picture as well for the crypto majors, also down a bit, although that's recovered a little bit the last 2 days, right? So it's helped support us here at 7,002. Where do we want to? We want escape velocity. We've got this mega downtrend for 3 years, but we want escape velocity. And where's that? Well, we got to get to 1,200 first, right? That will get us over our lower highs here as we've come down this mega downtrend. And we have also want to beat that. We want to get up to 1,700. Those are of our escape velocity to start printing a mega uptrend, not a mega downtrend, but this green line here. And of course, we need to rally pretty decently. We've got thin liquidity, it's doable, right? It's doable. We need a 130%, so a 2.3 x, but it's doable. We've done it before many times, and then we want to come back and have to have some profit taking. Got to get rid of the guys that bought the big bags that are speculative and want to take profits, but we want to hold up that price at a reasonable level back at 1,200. And then we want to zigzag up to glory, right? Up to glory, hashtag Richard Hart. So that is kind of the escape velocity that we're after. That is the thesis that we're looking for. So far, so good. Let's go, says Angel. Let's go, indeed. So you can kind of see where we are. We've got plenty of room in the RSI for it, right? Look at that on the weekly. Plenty of room to make this escape for glory, let's call it. So that is kind of cool. I should put a little text box there saying escape for glory, shouldn't I? But I don't have time today. But remind me tomorrow. So that is the Pulsechain stuff, folks. We are fighting the battle. May we hold on. The downside scenario is moving to another zone, which would be pretty brutal. Our liquidity is already pretty thin. It's doable, though. This is markets, right? This is AMM pulls. But we would need a catalyst for it, right? Some big whale, some big hack. I don't think we're going to get contract exploits anymore. I think CryptoSolve sort of argued that that's unlikely. And so, yeah, I think we're it's something unexpected, particularly a wallet hack of a large account, something like that. I think maybe we've got sacrifice exhaustions. We did see the Pulsex seller, the Pulsex seller. I think he's down, 95%. So he's got a little bit left, not much. He could still take us down on the old Pulsex, but we saw a bit of recovery today of Pulsex. So we still have a little bit of these large holders, but let's argue for sake that they're exhausted too, and that they see the best bet is just to hold on. We'll see. So far, 10 weeks in, we're good, but we're at the bottom of that range, but definitely testing that theory. But we've managed to defend the line today. All right, so let's see where we go moving forward. We've obviously got all the same kind of fundamentals as I talked about earlier for Bitcoin and Ethereum, albeit a little bit of rotation, rotation variability there. We'll see, because eventually the market might just say Pulsechain's a better bet, right? for the upside because it's down so low. So that's the counter argument to that, to the rotation. All right, maybe rotation, then counter argument, right? Maybe that plays out like that. So that's the idea there. Let's see how we get on moving forward. Let's jump over to the top 100. How are we doing for time? We are 40 minutes on the hour. Man, I'm way over. I'm almost back to a full show, aren't I? Well, back for the full show. I'm going to get in trouble, I'm sure. But anyway, we've got world's greatest P-Dye printer, which I've been talking about for some time. It's up 32% today. And let's number one here on the Pulsechain Top 100. Anyway, we've got the 24-hour volume overall on all the DEXs is $3.4 million. So that's great, right? Yesterday we were at a measly, 2.3? So it looks like we're up 1.1 million over the last 24 hours. Hip, hip, hooray for that. Damn it, that's worth a flipping clap. We're back in the kind of the normal range for a weekday, but it's the weekend, for goodness sake. It's the weekend. So we've got weekend volumes we've got weekday volumes on a weekend, and we had weekend volumes on a weekday on Friday. So I don't know, you decide what's going on there. We're at 318,000 transactions. So let's have a look at Pulsex V2 technology. That is out of 3.4. That is doing 2.9. So we've got 500,000 that's been done by other DEXs, 9mm. Our V3 DEX is doing 300. So we must have at least almost 200 in SwitchX, is it? 130. So that's a decent day for SwitchX. It's not as high, right? Its high got to 185, was it? It was heading towards 200, 190 maybe, 185. So it's down 130. But that's the bulk of it. And we must have a little bit in Uniswap, I guess. Yeah, 38K and maybe a tiny bit in inch. Yeah, almost 20K in 9-inch. Actually should be a day for 9-inch there. And of course, most of the volume in 9-inch is solid X and stuff, still remnants there. Not sure where the rest of the volume is because it's not showing up on any of these pairs. So I'm not sure how it gets to 1,800 there, 18,000. Let's have a quick look at Uniswap here. What's the volume in here? Yeah, I don't even know how that gets to 838 either. But definitely our Pulsex V2, 9mm V3, SwitchX V4 ticking away there. And in SwitchX, the majority of the volume is in the Pulse recovery. And we've had some good volumes there, 55, another 20K. And then Switch is doing still decent volumes as well. Now, one thing, Switch is obviously being sold down, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. We also saw something after the live stream yesterday. The lock percentage got changed. I didn't know that it could do that. I have gone through the docs a little bit, not comprehensively. It's a pretty big docs, but I didn't actually look up to see the locking mechanism. So we're going to talk about that when we get to it. So let's go through that. So number 2 is GoPulse, which is shutting down, of course, today, isn't it? I think it's today. Shutting down GoPulse. That's up 18%. It's pretty much a meme coin at this point, right? Lost its kind of data utility site. Troper there is up 10% from James Maria. SCADA at number 4 from the supply team up 9%. Pump tires, boy, it has been a while since pump tires has been in the top 10, but that's up 8% today, 1.1 cent. 11/100 of a penny. Amiga DAO, which is you earn ProveX, right? That is from Cabal King and Kairos. That is up 8% today. Nice little rebound, one of our more popular DeFis recently. Gizmo up 8% at number 8. And Bonnie, Richard's first car, has been around for over a year. That's up 7.4%. Number 10 is PMX 500. It's been a while since that's been in the top 10, and that is up 7% as well, but very small volume. Remember, the majority of Pulsechain projects are retail plays, right? So, and then I separate out volumes by 100K, right? So if we've got something over 100K, I consider that a bit more of a retail play, relatively speaking. In other words, bigger players can participate because, liquidity, you got to be able to exit and entrance with a reasonable slippage and movement, as well as relative to the capital that you put into a project, right? So there's those things taken into account. That's why the majority of Pulsechain, at the least at the moment, after our down chart, our 3 years of down chart, is mostly retail plays. Now, in time, that may very well change as we increase the number of 100K plus 24-hour turnover projects. But that's kind of where we are at the moment. And we got some attractive retail plays under 100K volume. So it just depends on where you are. Teddy Bear, you got to pick winners, basically. Pick winner. Teddy Bear there from James Maria is up about 6%, all the way from number 11 to number 15. Then we've got the Richard Hart tokens with a few extras in the middle. Smorg 20 at up 5.5% for Investor, the OG Web Chef grandparent. up 5% there. And then we've got Doubt token, one of our top meme coins, number 26, up 4.6%. BFF there, I think that's James Maria. Sometimes I get that mixed with OG WebChef, but I think it's James Maria, 4.5%. Swarm at number 29, up 4%. What else we got going? Teddy Bear at number 31, and we got teddy bears all the way at our pair. So another teddy bear pair at number 31. Pulse Bitcoin up 4% after that bit of a sell-off yesterday. Is that the main pair? I think so. And then we got Vouch, our big liquid staking. So we've got two major liquid stakings, Vouch and Validator X from PlusX. They're a bit like Lido and Rocket Pool, right? So it's kind of your comparison. They're a bit more sophisticated, though, I think. And they offer more yield potentialities, and Vouch there 3.7% today, number 34. Mafia, Coin Mafia there from Rack and Rochelle up to at $2.48. We are expecting potentially a couple of thousand more validators to come in to support that token, as indicated by Rackham. So we'll keep a lookout for that. Number 37 is Firewall, up 3.6% right now. UFO at number 38 is up 3.5% in the mix there as well. Peacock showing up just below 1 cent right now. So it's just been battling, I think, from 9600th of a penny up to 1 cent. So it's in that battle zone. We are expecting a lot of product rolls out from Liberty Swap, and Peacock is the official token, right? So that means a lot of buy and burn potentiality moving into the months ahead. So that's kind of the play there. One of our consider it our number one blue chip dynamic project because they're just constantly rolling out and expanding the DeFi ecosystem, right? So it is in a league of its own. The closest other project, I would argue, but they don't have the same innovation ramp out in terms of DeFi hooks, and that would be Internet Money, right? They've done a pretty amazing job with the Internet Money wallet, 118,000 downloads, 40 countries, 193 countries or so, 40 different blockchains. So you can't argue against that. That's pretty powerful stuff. And they're also going to be incorporating some of Liberty Swap's privacy APIs and things like that. So we'll keep a lookout for that. What else we got there coming down? We've got 90mm, our second biggest DEX, up 2.9% today. I'm going to scroll past a few of these other ones here. Zero Knowledge Printer, one other top DeFi one like Omega. They're from Kairos and I think Cabal King up 2%. True Farm sitting at just below 39 cents, one of our top two yield farms. That's up 1.8% at the moment, along with Emmett Farm. Provex, of course, we talked about that. It's up 1.2%, and the number 75. So we've got how many coins? We've got 82 coins that are green today. Obviously, Pulse was up about 3%. So who bet Pulse today? Let's scroll up here. Maybe 50% of the coins have done better than Pulse as the leverage today, and that kind of benchmarks at 9mm, I guess. 9mm there. Moving down further here, let's have a look at the down coins. Well, P-Mint, one of the PDI projects that you put PDI and get P-Mint, that's down 29%. Let's have a look at that. OMG, that's charts down. Yeah, so that chart's down at 6 cents now. So that's definitely a tapered off there. But what has had a good run. Look at that run. You can't argue against the run there. It's like anything. Profits are made, profits are taken. Now, the other one, that big one's down, is Switch. So Switch is our third biggest DEX, right? Our V4 from Brandon. And it's got some amazing setups. The only thing that shocked me yesterday, though, I think that it's an incredible platform, but is the short-term emissions. So whenever you have an emission profile, it's always that first, 3-6 months that is the most dumpable, right? Because the yields are high. Yields are high. They attract capital. Capital makes high yields, and in the high yields, they dump some of the tokens, right? That's the thing. Now, it flattens out later on, and if you've got an ongoing business, then it can be a very profitable ownership. But when is that going to be? Is that going to be 6 months? Is it going to be 9 months in the first year emissions? Because the emissions half every 12 months for the first 2 years, and then 6 months left after that. But it's the first year with that high level emissions. And I'm just trying to remember how much it is a day. I think he's at 6 million a day. I know it halves down, does a halving. We'd have to go check the docs, but something like that. So you've got to take that into account. Now they have they have a number of supply sinks, burnings, and buying backs, and all sorts of things. There's a number of tokenomics that are designed to keep it down. But at the moment, you would have to argue that you're going to get a lot of people that don't have locked rewards will sell down, right? So will sell down to hedge themselves and take profit. That's kind of the idea. While the rest of the tokens get locked in for long-term ownership, right? Up to 2 years, right? Up to 2 years. So at the moment, we saw a bit of volume get sold down yesterday. So we were holding up at about 1.7 cents. We're now down 1.1. So it's pretty interesting. But let's go to the website. Let's go to the website because I wanted to show you the locking change. Remember, we were at 75% yesterday, and let's go to the earn page here, and I want to show this here at the moment. So naturally, you're going to have the least lockup is in the main pairs, right? Switch USDC, Switch Pulse, because this is, you want people to buy Switch, right? You want people to buy Switch. So the auto lock is 50%. That has not changed. That was the same as yesterday. That has not changed, right? So that's the same. Now, if these high yields, you earn those high yields if your liquidity is in that concentrated range. There's two parts of that concentrated range. There's a narrow and a broad, and it gives you these high yields in addition to the fees. So the fees are, modest, 1%, 3%, but the farm yields, if you're in the right zone, can be very lucrative. Now, obviously, the contract's got this atomic dynamics repositioning, and that happens over time frame, like 2 hours or something like that for the narrow. And so you do get reset into that money zone. But sometimes you could stay in it for quite some time, right? Just depends where the price is and the amount of volume trading through. But that's kind of the idea. Now, but what we saw yesterday, which kind of took me by surprise, was we were talking about some of these non-switch pairs, right? Like USDC Pulse, USDC DAI, Pulsex, and of course they've got. If you're in the right zone in the APR, you can earn 100% plus, or 4,000 or 8,000, right? So it's pretty damn lucrative if you're sitting in that zone at that particular time. And of course, you get moved back in there, that sort of stuff, because it's dynamic LP, right? Down at LP. But what happened was the auto lock changed. So before it was 75%. In other words, 25% of the rewards you get out straight away. Now you can burn those and increase your V switch or your DAO sort of ownership of the platform profits, or you can sell them, right? And then because 75% gets automatically locked, so you're already forced. Your rewards are already forced into the ownership structure, right? So that's kind of the play there. But what happened yesterday? It moved up to 95%, probably because of that chart, right? Probably because of this chart here looking like that, which is that is a known variable. This is going to happen. This is we went through the cycle there already. So that's kind of interesting stuff, and it got moved to 95. Now, I don't know whether the doc says that you can move it to lock. Now, I know the Treasury is designed to control the switch for at least a month to 3 months, right? That's the way it's designed, with that first 15 million that got minted, along with the other 15 million that got for the liquidity and everything else and rewards. Well, that 15 million gets put in the Treasury, so that gives control over the Treasury. And I didn't know whether it had variability over the lock value. So that kind of gave me some shock. Now, it's if you believe in long-term ownership, then yeah, sure, it's fine, 95%. But you take in the price sell-off with the variable stuff, and you got to ride through that, right? So that's the outside of it. So it does force ownership. But where people had 75%, they're probably happy with 75% forced ownership because you're in a V3 V4 DEX that's earning. If it's an ongoing concern, you're going to earn nice income over a long period of time, and increasingly so in the future if that holds up. And of course, that's relative to the incentives, but I think the incentives are always going to be pretty good with dynamic, automated LLM. And of course, if Pulsechain takes off too from now, it's kind of a no-brainer in my view. It is the most sophisticated market, pool out there at the moment on Pulsechain. So, but yes, so 95% of your rewards, even if you're earning a lucrative APR. So, for example, you can't get into that one, sorry. But even if you're in this, let's say you're in this one here, and you're in the right zone for liquidity, you're earning a super high APR for the period of time that you're in there. In that zone, 95% of rewards are being locked up. So 95% of switch is being locked up. And typically they have something like 92,000 to about 115,000 switch per day emitted to a lot of these top pools. That will go down obviously in the future, but that is kind of where we are right now. And 95% of those rewards get locked. So interesting stuff. I did not know you could do the locking, and I'm not sure if it's in the docs. I'm not going to spend time looking at the moment, but it's something you might want to do. Look in the docs to see what the locking is, because that took me a little bit by surprise. Like I say, it does change, your risk reward profile depending on what yours is. If you're a full-on believer in SwitchX, then you don't care. But then, of course, you've also got to face potentially impermanent loss. So depending on which pool you're in, if you're in a stable coin, a Pulse pool, and Pulse takes off, then you're going to lose out on your pulse, right? Because you're going to end up with a lot of USDC. You'd actually have to withdraw and then go buy back, but you're going to be buying back at higher prices. You see what I mean? So permanent loss takes a big play. Now, you might have something Pulse ratio. Well, we've seen the Pulse ratio over time move up against Pulse. It's kind of stagnated recently, but if that continues on, if Pulse rallies, then Pulsex is a leverage rallies with the buy and burn, and you could have impermanent loss there too. So you know it's not without its major risk there once impermanent loss happens. Now, obviously, we've had Pulse sitting around 7,000, so if it stays there for ages and you're just doing volume, then you're going to sit back laughing all pretty. You're going to make lots of rewards, and they're going to lock in at Switch, and you're going to become a relative owner relative to what you put in there, an owner of Switch. So you can sort of see some of the variables there that are interesting. But apart from that, very, very cool. Let's have a look at the analytics at the moment for SwitchX, which we've been following the journey, right? The launch journey of. We got 310K locks, so we're down from our 400 from yesterday. The volume there was at about 180. We're down at 120. But, we're going to get variability, right? We are going to get variability there. And so if we look at the month chart here, we can see that we've gone from the 14th of May, about 181K. We had a high here of 413 on the 28th. And then the last 2 days we've just dropped down or so to 310. Now, that's normal. We'll be watching this over the next month or two. You've got to have a long time frame there. Now, volume, of course, if we look at that on a month, we start off day one, the 14th, there, 158, obviously excitement. But let's start off from on the 15th. 15th there, we rallied all the way up. We had a high of 198. So you're almost at 200K in volume. That's really good for a brand new volume on Pulsechain. And then we've come down, right? It's come down to about 129. This is kind of where we are. Ignore this part here. It's kind of down where we are right now. So we'll keep a lookout for the volumes moving forward. Kind of interesting. Also, the fees generated, right? Protocol revenue at 2,700 right now. And we're watching at total trade so far since it launched, since about the 14th, is almost $1.7 million. So it is contributing and playing a role. And it is certainly pretty exciting to see. That the only thing that took me by surprise was that lock change mechanism. I'm not sure if that's in the doc. So interesting there. All right. So something I'll look at after the live stream. But certainly interesting. Maybe not now because I've got other stuff to do. But I'll get to it. Maybe I'll have the knowledge by tomorrow. It's a quick search, but I just don't have time now. All right, so that is that Switch. So interesting. We're watching that. What else we got down? That's at the moment down 6%. The Pulse guy, part of the Peacock trifecta, quadrifecta, I should say, down 6%. Ethos there from Cabal Kings, technology Nexian, down 3% right now, and that is doing. PDI, isn't it? PDI? Yeah, PDI. So that's another PDI farm there that's earning PDI farm / DeFi, really. That's pretty much it. Obviously got a few others down, but that's essentially where we are. Let's jump away. How we're doing for time? I've got 2 minutes. I was supposed to do 30 minutes. I'm up to an hour. What the heck? I'm going to get fired. All right, so let's have a look here on Pulse Coin List. How many pools have we got over 100K? Well, Pulse doing 2.2 million, PDI doing almost 800K. And of course, it's got a number of projects also interconnected with it, as we pointed out. So that's going pretty well. PDI Printer is the top performer, right? That's contributing big time. And also is, some of these other ones like, Ethos and others. So pretty exciting stuff. We got Wrapped Ethereum there at 312K, Pulsex at 200K, Hex on Pulsechain at 224. Wrapped Bitcoin making a move too. Was up $150. We're up almost 10% today on Wrapped Bitcoin, so not bad. 130,000 volume there. Atropa is up in 114K, and ProveX at 115K, and then Hex on from Ethereum is at 100K. So we've got 9 pairs, guys. So we jumped from 2.3 million to 3.3 million or so, and we've gone from 6 trading pairs up to 9 that are over 100K, and that's what we want to see, right? That's what we want to see. So that's kind of cool. All right, so we've got lots of idle stable coins on Pulsechain. May they contribute in the future. Now, look at this. So below 100K, we've got some interesting ones. We've got Treasury Bill / James Maria XGUSD teams, I guess. World's greatest PDI printer, which we've talked about. It's up 47% this week, guys. And I've been talking about that early, right? Early. So you guys, hopefully, if some of you decide to take it. Now, nothing I say is financial advice, of course. You must do your own due diligence. But world's greatest PDI printer there, doing pretty well. 71,000. Now, I'm not sure. They were running at about a 7% weekly capital return rate That's probably higher now, probably higher. I don't know. It's just gone up, so it's got to be higher. And incentive token 65p mint, which is the one that's gone down 41%, 28% today for the PDI program as well. So like I said, PDI getting a lot of support from all these projects, right? So a lot of PDI's up here at number 2, but you can see PDI obviously wrap Bitcoin, PDI world's greatest PDI printer, PDI P mint, PDI Ethos. See what I mean? So it's got quite a few DeFi's supporting liquidity all connected together. Pretty interesting. Then we get down number 14. We've got Peacock at the moment holding at 1 cent. Pretty much it is at 51K volume. And then I'm going to finish off at number 15. That's the BTC the Greys making a little bit of a comeback in volume, 48K, up a little bit today, but still down 5.5%. So BTC the Greys struggling a little bit, even with some of the biggest heavyweight influencers supporting it. And of course, Prairie Banana, who does an incredible job of quantizing the opportunity there. Do you like that one? I don't know if he's watching, but Prairie Banana quantizing. Quantizing there. All right, so that's kind of the cool. That's where we are right now, guys. Trending on Pulsechain list is world's greatest PDI printer, PDI, and Wrap Bitcoin. So the PDI ecosystem is benefiting. I'm not saying PDI to $1 because that's a whole different gambit. But PDI volume, yeah, PDI volume to 100K. PDI volume to 100K. Oh, it's actually PDI almost to $1 million, isn't it? 800K right now. So PDI to $1 million volume. That's the new craze, guys. Get out there, spread the word. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, so we're up to 1 hour and 1 minute. Man, I'm going way beyond time, beyond the matrix, but we're going to have a quick look at Liberty Swap here. Let's go have a quick look at Liberty Swap, see what they've got to say for themselves. This is our blue chip dynamics. They are rolling out a massive ecosystem on Pulsechain, and we've been following their journey with excitement because it's exactly the sort of projects that Pulsechain needs, right? Very, very cool. All right, so we've had obviously a lot of posts from them. They're very active online and so forth. What else do we got? Let's just scroll down here. I'm just going to scroll up. Let's see what else we got here. We're going to go scroll through some of these. Let's see. So they've got lots of updates coming up this week, so I'm just trying to see whether we had any of those. What do we got here? Study Pulsechain. Yeah, that's it. So we are expecting a lot of updates this week from that team. So we'll cover those when they come due. Now I'm going to quickly check Brandon from Switch since I covered Liberty Swap. No, that's got nothing update from him at the moment. So that's kind of the key updates. So that's probably a good place for us to finish. We'll try and pick up on some other teams as well moving forward. Probably do some reviews of Patias. Probably do some reviews. I'm going to see whether Fast Abdul's got anything around Vouch 369 coming up. Stu, of course, has got all his projects coming up. So I'll probably talk about that. We did do an update on that last week. But those are all starting to roll out over the next 5 weeks, aren't they? 5-6 weeks. So Stu's ecosystem, there's about half a dozen protocols all rolling out over the next six weeks, and that includes Signum Oracle, which we're excited about for not Stu's projects, but Jacob's. Jacob been relatively quiet. I think he's probably still doing his Mafia project rolling out, but he's got on-chain bet and then ultimately PSDRGO. But PSDRGO not only does it need the Signum Oracle, which is coming in July, but it will also need, no doubt, the ETH prices to rally so that the capital required for setting up all the LP pools to support PSDRGO, the world's first kind of closest decentralized stablecoin / hybrid, is coming to market. So at some stage, so it may be a bit further down the field because it's going to need a certain amount of liquidity. Now, what will that liquidity be? I can't remember the exact amount of money they had. I think it was 145 at the current prices. So I don't know whether they need to get to maybe 500,000, because every time you put in a V2 pool, they're going to use V3, of course. You can do full range V3, but they would need to. You can double that money, right? Essentially, so 500K turned to $1 million. So we'll see what happens on the second conditionality there for PSDRGO. He has made enhancements and refinements, so we're going to, we'll just have to wait patiently for him. He's obviously just sitting, building at this stage, waiting for the right moment in the markets. So that's kind of the play there with some of those projects. If there's anything I haven't covered that you think's of quality that we should cover, you can always leave me a comment about that, and I will, think about that one and check it out. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I have gone on for another 35 minutes. It's supposed to be 30 minutes. It's an hour and 5. I'm going to get in trouble when I get off, that's for sure. So I should be working on something else for Pulsechain. But until then, I hope you guys enjoy it. Guess what's coming out tomorrow, guys? Monster Thread Weekly News number 56, guys. We're in year 2, 56. So we're, how many? That's 4. That's a whole month in year 2 of the Pulsechain Monster Thread. There are going to be some continued changes happening on Monster Thread to always improve. And so keep a lookout for that in the next edition, Pulsechain's Hollis Weekly News, and number 56 weeks. Isn't that crazy? 56th edition. It's pretty awesome stuff there. All right, so onwards and upwards, guys, and I'll catch you guys again tomorrow. Take care. Hope you guys enjoyed today's coverage. Bitcoin and Ethereum up slightly. Pulsechain defending the 7K. Where do we go from here? Let's see what this week ahead is in store, because we've got quite a few updates from project teams, and we'll see what happens with the market as well as we move into June, guys. We move into June. All right, take care. Bye for now.